How many folks have seen Arrested Development Season 4?
Well, that's a good question. How many wish they hadn't? It was a great experience, and completely unlike the prior experience, because the prior one was a battle every day. It was an external battle, and this was an internal battle, which is harder and more uncomfortable, but more fun. I don't think any of us really expected, I don't know if you did, that that the press would be as into it as they were. And obviously a lot of it's stoked by PR and everything, but still.
I wasn't expecting it to be the kind of pop culture moment that it was.
I know.
Because I think it's right up there with the Royal Baby this year.
Hopefully it surpasses that.
Yeah.
They totally took our idea with George. We have a George.
That's right.
Totally. And you can't say it without looking like an asshole, you know. The thing that was challenging was we were never done with an episode. So even if something was really funny and was going well, we always felt a little bit like, is this going to make sense? Is there any way to pull all this together? Because usually you'll shoot 5 days and you'll have an episode and you'll have to edit it together. And we'd shoot 6 months and we'd still wouldn't know, we didn't have Ben Stiller till a couple of months ago. It's a weird part of any creative endeavor where you stop and you think, what am I missing? Because I see everything else and I know what they're missing. I know that they shouldn't have named that movie Pacific Rim.
Yeah, right?
No one knows what Pacific Rim means. It's not a... Call it robot fights.
These are easier to observe. These observations are a lot more obvious from the outside,
so
is
obvious.
your point. Yeah.
So it's stop and just go, what am I missing? It was really interesting to have a partner that liked all the creative risks. That was, and they've done this consistently at Netflix. I mean, even I was saying, what do you mean you're going to put them out all at once? I mean, don't people look forward to every week? And don't you want to drum roll it? You're also giving away a month free on Netflix, and you're putting them all out so anybody could really just say, let me just watch them and then and get rid of my membership. At every point, they just looked at this thing with fresh eyes. Remember, what happened with the button on the remote control? Does that happen?
Oh, yeah, it's out there. It's out there. People...
Because I asked them early on, they had a Netflix button on the remote control, and, something nobody's ever thought of doing. And I said, was that a complicated thing? He said, oh, it's pennies. It was nothing. They were all game for doing it. If NBC had done that when they had Seinfeld, where it's almost Pavlovian. You'd press the little peacock, and a whole generation would have grown up knowing you press the peacock and you get comedy.
So what was really fascinating to watch from those first hours, and reviews start breaking, and the New York Times gave us a harsh one.
Yeah.
That every subsequent review was better and better and better, because they were actually seeing that the last 4 episodes were actually the punchlines of the first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And then you got the structure of it. And by the way, what Netflix viewers were doing was starting all over again and loving it. I mean, so and
that's interesting. Was there rewatching? Was
that a ton? I mean, immediate rewatching, meaning that they got through. My God! And they wanted to go back and see the thing that they saw a couple hours ago or a couple of days ago, and were rewatching it.
You're having a big year. This is an unbelievable year. I mean, they really. I mean.
This is a conversation with Mitch Hurwitz, not...
And there was a great article was it the New York Times? I think it was the New York Times like 2 days ago. It was New York Times because it was David Carr. And he said, I had a feeling somebody would come along and dominate this world of streaming. I didn't think it would be the guys that are mailing us those red envelopes that also revolutionized the post office. I mean, it's crazy.
Thank you. For us, like I said, it was a path that we were kind of driving toward. And it all just kind of, this year felt like it all just kind of gelled. The talking about control and all the things that consumers love and creative freedom to create great content. It was fun to talk about it for all those years, but it was much more fun to actually do it. We don't really develop. That's the interesting part. What we would do is make a big commitment to something that is pretty well developed. You don't come to Netflix for a development deal or a pilot deal, and then your show never ends up anywhere. If you do the deal, you have a whole season of content. Are we going to do it again?
Well, do what again?
This conversation next year, Just For Laughs, 2014.
Definitely. Here's the most important thing. I think whatever we do, we want to get the cast all together. Or create the impression that the cast is all together, and not do another anthology thing. And that's why I keep thinking, well, if we kick it off with a special or like a 3-part show, and then it goes into a series, or
now is
that good? Are you game for that?
Absolutely, in any form. So
can it be a parody of House of Cards?